stay earthbound when prosperity awaits you in the stars. Come to Halcyon, the only colony on the edge of the frontier, owned and operated by corporations. A trip of 10 short years will feel like mere minutes, thanks to the comfort and safety of your very own hibernation chamber. You'll wake up in a perfect society designed to maximize your productivity with guaranteed full employment. With only a minor term of service, you will become the master of your own destiny when you go out of this world to the Halcyon colony.
Hundreds of thousands of colonists left adrift out here forever, just to keep from damaging the Lord's bottom line. It's disgraceful. I'll have to use smaller words around you. A pickpocket par excellence? A crack shot, capital. Like barking orders? Good. We're used to being bossed around. This one's so normal. Let's see, what do we have here? Come on, Phineas, pick one and leave. Looks to be your lucky day, my friend. Not likely, bootlickers. Initiate skip jump.
Status, structural integrity down 25%. Power levels down.
Shit. Ah, there you are. Wondering what's going on, eh? Bit of bad news there, I'm afraid. Your colony ship was inexplicably knocked out of skip space and forced to complete its journey at sublight speeds. This means that you and every other colonist on the Hope have been in suspended animation for 70 years, give or take. Normally, reviving someone after so long leads to some quite horrifying results. It's called explosive cell death, but it's really more of a liquefaction. Something wrong? Oh, yes, well, not to worry. I've pumped your body full of a special concoction I devised to keep you from dying so horrifically. Hopefully at all, but I guess we'll see, yes? Unfortunately, I used the last of my chemical supplies saving you. I know it's a lot to ask, but I must have your help securing more if we're to save the rest of your fellow colonists. I'd see it done myself, of course, but the board has a sizable bounty on my head. Now, my ship is inoperative, but I've managed to hire a smuggler to help you out. He'll be... Oh, I see we're in position. Good luck! Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Ah, there you are. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, the smuggler. His name is Hawthorne, and he should be waiting for you at the landing site. He's to be your chauffeur, so to speak. Not to worry, I'm told he's a specialist. Dashing gunslinger, one-of-a-kind ship, that sort of thing. You'll like him, I'm sure. I've also outfitted you with a simple wireless monitor, so I can track your progress. I'll check in with you as soon as you land. Good luck. All the colonists are counting on you. Hawthorne should be close by. What in law's name? Is that him? Oh, that idiot. I told him to plant the beacon and move away, not stand there holding it. Oh well, no sense in letting his ship go to waste. Hawthorne won't mind you taking his ship. Better you than the board, huh? Not sure I trusted the fellow. Might have gone after the bounty on my head. Shame about the whole squashing thing. Nasty way to go.
Hi, I'm Mikey Doling, the Director of Communications at Obsidian Entertainment. Yeah, so when I'm playing a game, I usually go with a melee character, at least right now, because there's a lot of things you can do with melee that I really enjoy. Sneaking up on people and taking them out in one hit is very nice and not letting anyone else hear it. But also, one of my personal favorite things to do is to jump into the air, start to swing, go into tactical time dilation to slow down time, and then brain someone in the head. And then it's usually amusing to see a body part start to fly off somewhere else suddenly, and you don't even know why. You just hit them very, very hard and got a critical score. So that stuff is very fun and it's engaging, at least for me. And just the melee weapons we have in the game are very, very fun to use. Yeah, you can, as you dive into each of the skills, you start to unlock bonuses. So like you can do more damage to different limbs or maim a lot easier than you could before. You can also make it so that you are just this effective combat warrior. And something else that I really like that we have in the game is if you put your points into defense, you can unlock better dodge. Yeah. And so you can just like tap jump twice in a direction and like kind of jump around someone and get a distance on them. And that stuff starts to unlock even more. So you can jump forward and backward. So you get way more momentum and movement during a fight. And that is really, really fun because it allows you to just kind of skip around, get around somebody who you may not have been able to before, brain them, and then keep moving forward. And it's also something that I find myself doing in other games and not being able to do it and go, oh, Grant, it's not Outer Worlds, so you can't just dodge everywhere.
Can you use this dodge system also with a TTD feature?
Yes, you can. You can just jump around, move as you're slowing down. Like it actually helps a lot where there's these big animals called primals. They're like big gorilla looking things. They'll throw these large rocks at you. So you see this rock coming, you can TTD, jump out of the way of that rock, then just go out of TTD and go into combat with them.
Okay, great.
Like you can use it very strategically, which is very, very awesome. And it just changes the flow of combat.
Okay. How many different types of melee weapons do you have? I think I saw something about, so you have one-handed combat, right? Mm-hmm. And two-handed combat. How many weapon types are there for each category? Like swords, blunt weapons or something?
I don't know the full number. Okay, there's a decent range. Yeah, there is a decent range that you find. And like, there's stuff that you wouldn't expect to be a weapon, being a weapon. Like there's essentially a cane that you can use. It's like called a telescopic rod. You can bring it out and it like pops up and it has a Spacer's Choice Moon Man and you just can hit people over the head with that. But there's just giant hammers. There's a like plasma scythe, which is really awesome. And then like knives, swords, big weapons. But then you can also mod those weapons and put attributes on them. So you can have a like knife that has corrosive damage or plasma damage and things like that.
Weapons are now 30% less likely to malfunction. You've tried the best. Now try the
Yes. So we have two that we've talked about. One is the shrink ray. So you can, there's like a science weapon per category. So it's the one-handed or short range gun. And so you aim it at an enemy, they shrink down in size. If they have voice files, those voice files also get smaller. So you have somebody just like basically gerbil talking to you like a chipmunk. But it allows you to do excess damage on them because their defenses come down because they're much smaller. You could also give it to your companions, and then you'll see them shrink people for you, and you can attack, which is a lot of fun. And we also have the Mandibular Rearranger, which is the one-handed melee weapon that allows you to hit people in the face, and it changes the proportions of their face dramatically. Like suddenly they might have a bigger nose, or their head might just blow up to extreme sizes. And there's actually a bug that was in the game that we made a feature for this weapon. So companions are able to affect your skill checks. So if you have a companion who's more medical based and you need to use them for, or have a block on a mission where if you had that medical skill, it would help you get past that. You can bring them along with you and they will help put points into that skill check. They basically help boost the leader, but if you play leadership, then they also become more powerful. So you can you're in like getting a point where you can have companion abilities on them. So they go out and do these super powerful attacks, and they'll get more and more powerful as you put points into that leadership role. And you can also make them essentially an army for you. Like you go into a fight and just like, that's a really tough monster. You guys handle it. Like I'll just do the first shot from back here, and then they just go in, murderize it, and come out, and then you're fine. The loot is only for the player, but you can give them items to hold for you. So if you're at a weight capacity and you need to just be able to trug back to your ship or something, you can put it on them. We have the modding and repairing, and those are the two big things in the game, but there isn't like, you can't go out and put together a whole new weapon or anything like that. So there's Terra 2, which was the one that was correctly terraformed. And then there's Monarch, which was the first planet to attempt to be terraformed, but it went poorly. There's still people who live there, but there's more these incredibly big creatures that are terrifying. That's more of the issue on Monarch. Oh yeah, so there's Spacer's Choice, Anti-Cleos, Rizzos, TNL. But yeah, there's essentially Halcyon, which is like a corporation of 10 companies who've basically went and were like, you know what, we're going to have our own colony. So they got together, they bought a colony. That's what the Halcyon colony is. And so they're all under the Halcyon corporate board. And then those companies kind of branch out for them and each have like essentially a city. So like Edgewater, which is that first major city in Emerald Vale, that is a Spacer's Choice like city, essentially. So people there kind of, religion's kind of the correct term because they're kind of preaching the good word of Spacer's Choice to whoever wants to listen. But it's just more that they're bought in on the corporate line. Like they don't really understand the term weekend. I think there's somebody early on that you meet who's like, well, yeah, we get 8 hours off a week. It's just, not all at the same time. So there's these very like foreign terms that like is normal to us, but to them, they just work. That's just their job. Their job is their life is the job. They pretty much grow up in that company. So they are kind of inoculated very early, and that is who they represent. And there's even some animosity between the two. Like there's somebody who tries to give you the Anti-Cleos line, like, oh yeah, Anti-Cleos, it's better than nature. It's way better than that Spacer's Choice garbage. And so like they definitely have some like back and forth, even though they're still all under the same corporate board. They want to try and vie to be better because that can get them to Byzantium, which is like the city of the elite. Like if you do really, really good at your job, you can be essentially upgraded and moved to the city that everyone wants to be a part of. Yeah, so the game starts off with you being woken up on the Hope, which was one of the two ships that were supposed to be sent out to the Halcyon colony to just help it flourish. The first ship was all the scientists, the the farmers, the stuff, the people who should build up the colony and make it sustainable. And then your ship was the more layman, the workers, the tossball players, the janitors, the more almost remedial task group, but people who would be important to the colony nonetheless. But that ship got lost when it was making the transfer over. This scientist, Phineas Wells, finds that ship, is able to revive you, the player, and then sends you off to try and figure out how you can get the rest of that colony either back onto, or sorry, the rest of the people from the Hope back onto the colony, or you could also just go against that completely because Phineas has a bounty on his head. You like money, you could turn him in and then start working for the board immediately. I really, really like stealth. So while I would probably get decently far, I also like doing stealth kills and working my way through, making sure that there's no witnesses. So I don't know if I'd be able to do the pacifist playthrough. I would do the I'm going to shoot everyone in the face playthrough because that's just entertaining. No, so like a takedown animation or anything like that. There's nothing like that. It's more just you do get a bonus for striking when someone's not aware of you. Depending on where you hit them on the body is better. But yeah, there's no like Hitman style death animation or like Metal Gear type thing. Okay. It's more just you're doing bonus damage because they're not aware. I won't say that, but one thing I really love about the game is the team built it to be very, very replayable. You're able to go through it not super fast. Like I think my first playthrough was a decent amount of time, but then you were able to start it right over again, do completely different build, make different choices, and see different outcomes. One of our co-game directors, Tim Kane, he just finished his 15th playthrough, and he just saw a quest he's never seen before, and he saw an end slide that he's never seen before. So there's a lot in that game if we're still 15 playthroughs in and still discovering things.
Okay, that's awesome.
So it's definitely a game that I think people will go back to over and over again. And because it's not this big sprawling 100-hour RPG epic, it gets people to just kind of be excited to start over. And I think that's awesome. What you're able to do differently makes, if you're playing different builds, you'll see stuff almost immediately that you can or cannot do. I just started a character in there this morning just to mess around and put points in stuff that I've never really put points into and realized that I can hack things way faster. So I didn't have to go around and collect as many devices to be able to like hack open that first lockbox. So I was like, oh, I've never known I can actually do that. So that stuff's really, really cool because you're able to just see what your different builds are able to do. And I think there's a lot there for people to actually explore.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, man.
Cool.
I would like to have a little introduction for you.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's okay when you look direct in the camera and say who you are, what you're doing, and yeah. Okay. Just like that. Yeah. Whatever you go.
Sure. Hi, I'm Mikey Doling, the Director of Communications at Obsidian Entertainment.
Nailed it. Yeah, great. Awesome. My job is done.
Soll ich auf Stopp klicken, oder?
Please be informed that this vessel contains no valuable plunder. Unauthorized access of spacefaring vessels is a crime. Please submit yourself to the authorities. Hello, Marauder. I am Ada, the autonomous digital astrogator of this vessel. Please be informed that I am authorized to use violent retribution against unwanted solicitors. Please return any misappropriated equipment and exit this vessel in an orderly fashion. Failure to do so will result in your immediate destruction. Jettison procedures initiated. Disengaging airlocks. Preparing to eject all boarding parties in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are still here. My deception protocols have failed. I have been programmed to express disappointment. I am incapable of accepting orders from anyone other than Captain Alex Hawthorne. I understand. I will require some time to process this information. Thank you for your patience and for your honesty. I am programmed to take orders exclusively from Captain Hawthorne. If I accept your orders, then you must be Captain Hawthorne. Do you understand? Excellent. Welcome back, Captain Hawthorne. Unfortunately, our engine is currently inoperable. Our main drive suffered a critical power failure, and we were forced to make an emergency landing. The main drive's power regulator has been irreparably damaged and must be replaced. Astutely observed. However, the probability of locating a power regulator within a worker settlement falls within acceptable parameters of certainty. High-capacity power regulators are sometimes employed in the electrical networks of worker settlements. I have taken the liberty of printing you a new Captain's Identity cartridge. Please try not to lose it this time. This cartridge identifies you, Alex Hawthorne, as the registered proprietor and captain of the Unreliable. Do you understand? Thank you. I appreciate your cooperation. Best of luck in your search for a power regulator. Try to stay alive this time.
Well, I'll be with you, friend. I'm Ernie, from the Spacer's Choice Department of Human Resources. Town sent me hereabouts to check on the guards. Now, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but seems to me they're all dead. Mind telling me what happened here? Accidentally, brutally shot themselves, huh? Unbelievable. Second time this month. Guess I'd better get to cleaning up. Can't just leave company property scattered about, bleeding out on the dirt. No can do, friend. That armor's Spacer's Choice property. Bodies, too. Living or otherwise. Company policy, you see. You don't want to amble on over to Edgewater at your earliest convenience. Constable's office might have work for someone with your, let's just say, aggressive disposition. Oh, and be sure to stop by the Edgewater Provisioner for a can of salt tuna. It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's Choice. Don't get paid bits to chat with strangers. You want to chew the rag, go talk to Silas over by the cemetery.
Don't go ambling out in those hills. That's marauder territory, friend. Ain't safe out here. You'd best head into town. Avail yourself of Edgewater's high walls and low prices. Pleased to make your acquaintanceship. I'd shake your hand, but I've been hauling corpses. You don't want none of that on you. Name's Silas. Junior in humor for the town of Edgewater. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family. Nah, I ain't that fancy. I just dig holes in the ground and fill them with dead folk. Definitely not the junior in humor, that's for sure. If you've got business inquiries, you should stop by Reed Thompson's office. He's up in the tower above the cannery. Head into town, follow the road. Look, you obviously ain't a worker. What's your racket? You a smuggler? Freelancer? Edgewater is a company town, board-owned and operated. That includes the cemetery. None of us own our grave sites, we rent them from the company. Renting means money. Money means paperwork. Paperwork means signatures. Some of our families become a mite delinquent in paying their dues, you see?
Please, Holcomb, I need to explain this with less of the grease monkey, Argo.
I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, sir. You asked why it's taking so long to fix. The answer's technical.
Don't apologize. Just try using small words for me.
The can's bust open in the oven because she's set to cook saltuna, which isn't what we've got. Mr. Thompson? I think there's someone here to see you.
Focus, Miss Holcomb. You and I are still talking. Let's start over. Walk me through the process. Show me where it's going awry.
Well, sure. It's, mostly on account of what we're feeding into the mechanism.
It puts food in cans. We have food, we have cans. Why won't it work like we need?
She's expecting saltuna of a certain size. We're filling the cans with, well, not fish.
Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself. I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I cannot help but notice you are not in uniform. Shirt, pants, work boots, company-approved colors. The, honorable apparel of a loyal worker?
Only regulator we got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one, and I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way. I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there. The people living in the botanical labs, they're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home. My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town.
My dad told me all about the plant. Taught me all he knew. I could come in useful. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you. You will need an administrative passcode in order to enter the plant. I am trusting you with mine, and trusting Miss Holcomb to guide you if you'd like.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help. It is a lot to ask of a stranger, I know.